if you like the channel, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/MundaneMat. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and with everything going on in Hollywood, there's a bit of a vacuum right now, right? Who's gonna take the charge in order to lead the industry to a time of prosperity and way fewer accusations of sexual harassment, because people who are guilty of it have either been ousted or have gone into the underground in order to protect their reputation and their legacy. And I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more people denying anything instead of falling on the sword and apologizing for it. That's actually a tactic that I think is going to benefit more people than not in the coming weeks, months, and maybe even years. But that being said, there is in fact a vacuum right now, and apparently there's a group that are trying to fill it. They're trying to take over, and they're trying to lead Hollywood to the future, and that's interesting here. So according to the Ankler here, women are going to be taking the reins. Now, if you don't know what the Ankler is, this is what they say on their About page. The Ankler is a newsletter about and for the entertainment industry, edited and written by Richard Rushfield with the help of many friends. And it says here, after a long career covering Hollywood for every publication and website known to man, Rushfield founded the Ankler in early 2017 as a place where the real stories could be told. From stuff in the mailroom to craziness in the commissionary, the Ankler is there giving Hollywood a voice with pointed and insightful analysis and deadly industry gossip. The Ankler has become the indispensable read for Hollywood's plugged-in elites and elite adjacents. So it's gossip. It's a gossip mag. Not saying that's not true, just saying that's what it is. It's gossip. Okay, fine. Now we know. So this guy's been covering a lot about the Harvey Weinstein situation, and I've read through some of the other posts, and yeah, it's, pretty up to date on stuff here. But this one's interesting, where it's, saying women are going to take the reins. So it says, since the Harvey quake first thundered, this newsletter has been flabbergasted and dumbfounded by the total abdication of leadership of Hollywood's entire poobah class, in the face of the greatest crisis and demonstration of moral insolvency in the business's history. Well, yeah, no, I'd say it's pretty accurate, if not a bit wordy, and trying to, church it up with some nice words there. But now, with the Titans refusing to take charge, the women in Hollywood are charging into the leadership vacuum with an effort serious and megawattage high-powered enough to redraw the face of the entire industry. Now, okay, well, let's talk about that. Why is it that people in charge are not stepping up? Well, for one, many people out there don't want to be involved. I think that's a fair assessment to make. Hollywood, in and of itself, is having issues with money, right? They're not making as much as they used to, especially not in movies. Television shows are doing better, and box office are down, and only a few films each year really kind of hit the marks, and everything else just seems to be a flop or a dud, especially inside here in the United States. Overseas, things are a little bit different, but that's kind of where things are at. The people that they're saying are with the Titans refusing to take charge, I think he's referring mostly to like studio heads, right? But their job is to handle the business. Their job is not is to greenlight movies or to help guide projects, things like that. Their job isn't necessarily to handle this particular PR crisis unless it directly impacts them, and that's not something we've entirely seen yet outside of Harvey Weinstein. And what happened there was, hey, the Titans in that particular company, the leaders that be, ousted him. And now they're talking about filing for bankruptcy and just shuttling the entire thing. So it's something, what do you want? That's the other side of it too. What do you want? You want people to take over, but you haven't really told them what you want. And I think that's what's going to change here with this particular group. Now it says here, the Ankler can now reveal that a committee has been formed. Assembling under the working name Time's Up, a group has been meeting secretly in the labyrinths of the Creative Artists Agency since the dawn of this crisis, in contrast to the ineffectual wish lists issued by such groups in the past. Time's Up has been working towards a concrete list of changes to the industry with hard, verifiable benchmarks to certify progress. 50-50 by 2020 has become a hashtag-ready rallying cry for many members. Now, I'm assuming that means 50% women in leadership roles or directing and things like that. And this is interesting too. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, and I'm not whatever. This is more of a joke. But it's kind of like they're saying, okay, now is this time, because you keep hearing about these reports. Oh, we need more female directors, and we do, absolutely, more writers, more producers. So that they're going to use this moment to push that initiative through, and I think they're doing that, trying to think that it's going to make Hollywood a safer place. To kind of counter that, just thought for a quick second. Look at schools right now. Look at how many women. Because females make up the predominant amount of teachers, right? How many of them have been assaulting and sleeping with male students lately? You can't go a week without coming across one, if not more, stories of this happening. Yet it's not being looked at all like a nationwide epidemic. Where if we were getting stories of male teachers sleeping with female students at the insane rate that we're getting it from the opposite, oh my God, the National Guard would be called in and schools would be on lockdown. And we'd be seeing the exact same kind of response we're seeing now in Hollywood, but towards male teachers. So it's one of those things where, I'm just saying, it's like this has to be handled very, very carefully. And if these women in this group, and I'm not against this group's existence, are not planning it very carefully, then it can have serious repercussions going forward. And again, it could redraw the face of the industry, but not for the better. Now, it says, meeting every Friday morning in a conference room at CAA, the group is not a mere collection of mid-level rank and file, but includes some of the biggest name brands and most powerful players in Hollywood. Regular attendees include Kathleen Kennedy, Oprah Winfrey, Amy Pascal, Shonda Rhimes, Reese Witherspoon, Megan Ellison, Jill Soloway, Natalie Portman, Kelly Bush, and Katie Abrams, as well as representatives from all the major agencies. The group has swelled to as many as 50 members in recent meetings, with CAA's Maha Dakhil acting as a facilitator. Those are some pretty heavy names inside of that particular list. And again, these are people that are actors. You have studio heads, producers, writers, things like that. And it's good to at least work together to come for a common goal, for common ground. That I'm actually all on board with. But like I said, it's got to be very careful how it's implemented. If they're going to have verifiable benchmarks to certify progress, again, those have to be laid out in a way that's not going to come across as oppressive and or maybe demeaning to men who haven't done anything wrong, but are now being looked at as such. And there is a very, very, very strong whiff of that going around Hollywood right now, where you have people saying like, oh, should men be afraid? Because they can be outed for their crimes. Like, well, what if they haven't done anything? All men should be afraid. And it's like, whoa, wait, hold on, that's a bad idea right there. That's not a good sign. You don't want that. If you have that, that's going to mean that you're on a witch hunt, which many people have claimed is not a witch hunt. But when you hear comments like all men should be afraid, yeah, it's a little bit of a witch hunt. It's setting that up there a little bit, just a wee bit of one. Okay. Among the issues on the table, harassment, female representation across the workforce, pay issues, and disclosure of past issues, including payoffs. Discussion is in progress for how soon to reveal the group's existence formally, and how concrete a list of demands to put forward. However, when a group of this sort of power wattage steps forward with this moment not only of total chaos, but in a complete leadership vacuum, Hollywood would be hard-pressed to sweep under the rug whatever they put forward. And that's kind of essentially what they're trying to do here. They're formulating their, I guess you say, their action plan, their mission statement, and then from there they will be moving forward in a big enough sweep, a big enough push, a big enough PR push that they won't be able to like get knocked down or knocked to the side. And that's interesting. That's very interesting to see what's going to happen with that. I do feel Hollywood as a whole is going to be going through a transformation process as a result of this. If it does result in fewer people being preyed upon, then that's fantastic. As I've said before, and I will continue to say this, and I would say this to any woman on this list or any woman anywhere, if there's been an issue of sexual abuse, sexual assault, or rape, go to the cops. Go to the cops. That's your best course of action. Right now is the time to go to the police with verifiable information, because you have the safety in numbers and there won't be a backlash. Which is one of the reasons why, you have people like in New York that are looking at Harvey Weinstein, and they're assessing the concept of possibly, getting an indictment against him, as a result of the things that he's been accused of doing. So they're investigating him now. That's good. They do need to. But if you want other people to be brought down that aren't as big as Harvey Weinstein, you have to go to the cops. It's just the way it is. And as the memory of this moment is sure to haunt for decades to come, if this group remains active, demanding accountability, naming names, and certifying progress, they could at last be the force Hollywood is needed to push change through after decades of good intentions, empty promises, and little progress. Well, let's be 100% frank and realistic here. Hollywood is a meritocracy for the most part. Okay. It is more or less based, your success, a lot of it is based upon how good you are. But at the same time, you are also coddled through nepotism and cronyism. And there is a lot of that too. It's a weird mixed bag of all those terms kind of mishmashed together. And this is where you're going to come across issues, is when you start pushing these groups forward like this, not everyone is going to feel like they're getting the same amount of positive push forwards, the same amount of elevation, you might say. And that could cause fighting groups like this, if they're trying to say, we're going to take over the industry and we're going to make it girl power and we're going to make it a big thing and we're going to make it all this stuff, and everyone here is going to rise in the ranks and they're going to get more work and get better pay and blah blah blah. And then people start, they don't, because maybe there's a group within inside that group that's going to kind of take the reins and be the ones in charge, and they're the ones that are the power players, and they start helping their friends out, but not every single person. You're going to start seeing a lot of fracturing, a lot of splintering of groups. This has the potential, by the way, of turning into like the first couple seasons of Survivor, which would make for a very interesting fallout of the organization if that's what happens. Again, this is all pure speculation and theory. None of this is even, this is, again, this Ankler website is running on gossip, so we don't know how true this actually is. It's just interesting nonetheless to see whether or not they actually pull it off. It says the Ankler has been calling for information of a Kennedy Ellison commission to take charge for weeks, and now here it is. There's little hope of us turning the corner on this moment without some force to certify that change. This time is really coming. When Time's Up steps forward, the poobahs of Hollywood ignore it at their own peril. And see, that is one of those things that does bother me, again, as just as a person who is interested in Hollywood, loves Hollywood. They're saying if you don't fall in line, you're going to be pushed out of the way. Almost like it's an uprising, a usurping of sorts. A changing of the guard. Is this going to be like, is this going to end well? Right? And the question there, or the answer there, is probably not. I mean, to be fair, it's probably not going to be handled very well at all, because you are going to get pushback from some people who might just have general questions. But if I'm going to be 100% serious in my speculation here, if this is to go the way that the Ankler was saying that it would go, the likelihood of people just rolling over and doing what they say, for fear of reprisal, for fear of losing their jobs, for fear of losing their livelihoods, or being potentially blacklisted as a result of not falling in line with what Time's Up is demanding through their verifiable benchmarks, then yeah, people are just going to roll over and take it, and roll over and not speak up and not criticize it and not say a damn thing, which at the same time is just the horseshoe theory of where we find ourselves right now. So essentially, to the women of Time's Up, I think you have a very tough road ahead of you. If you want there to be positive and equal change in Hollywood, I'm not against it. I'm actually 100% all for it. I loved when I lived there. I met a lot of great people that just want to get ahead in the industry and don't want to be barred by gatekeepers or nepotism or cronyism or things like that. And if you can help people through your, 50-50 by 2020 initiative, then I'm not against it by any stretch of the imagination. But if this is not that type of organization, if this is tight, if this can run the same risk, let's say, to give an example, you might relate to. Take a look at the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. What was President Snow, right? She was the fight back against, not President Snow, President Coin, whatever, Julianne Moore's character. Okay, she fought back against President Snow, and in the end, she won. And what did she want? The same, just on the other side of the coin. And that's what I fear could happen here. But time will tell, and the ball is most definitely in your court. Hey guys, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so below. I love to read your guys' input. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel, there's the Amazon affiliate store, there's PayPal, there's Patreon, there's Bitcoin. And if you're bored and you want something else to watch, check out 3 Buck Theater up here. My name is Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace out.